A very good evening and welcome to this Sunday's edition of News First Weekend, coming to you live from our News First studios in Colombo. I'm Untitled. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
The biggest single haul of heroin in Sri Lanka seized at a car park in a shopping mall in Colombo 3. Court orders to detain and interrogate the suspects. Commander of the Army says the Sri Lanka Army has taken serious measures to support the war against drugs. Voice Against Corruption urges the President to reveal details of the Bond Commission report. Traffic OIC of the Borella Police critically injured after a hit and run by a defender in Bambalapitia. Deputy Minister Buddhika submits blood sample to test for narcotic substances. Vimal Veeravanshu reveals about an alleged land theft.
And now the stories in detail. The biggest ever single haul of heroin in Sri Lanka was seized in Kolpiti last evening in an operation launched by the Police Narcotics Bureau and the Police Special Task Force.
Based on a tip-off received from a reliable source, a special squad of officers from the Police Narcotics Bureau and the Police Special Task Force raided the basement car park of a mall at 4 last evening. The most pivotal information received was there are 2 vehicles parked carrying heroin and that 2 drug peddlers will be arriving to take the vehicles out. Moments after 4 p.m., 2 suspects approached the vehicles confirming the tip-off. They were apprehended by the special squad as they were approaching the vehicles. Now, the largest haul of heroin ever to be discovered in Sri Lanka was discovered last evening in the basement car park of a private mall in the heart of Colombo. Now, reports received by Newsfirst claim that this discovery was the result of the investigations that took place on the discovery of heroin in a boat in the seas of Beruala late last year. 272 parcels in total were found inside the vehicles, and they were divided into 5 bags each inside the 2 vehicles. When measured, the total weight of heroin amounted to 294 kilograms and 490 grams. The seized stock of heroin is worth over 3,533 million rupees. The 2 suspects arrested along with the stock of heroin are residents of Panadura and Keselwata. They have been identified as 43-year-old Mohammad Bashir Mohammad Ashmir and 32-year-old Mohammad Rila Ahmad Ghuzni. They were produced before the 4th Acting Magistrate Lochana Abe Vikrama this afternoon, and the magistrate granted permission for the suspects to be interrogated under detention orders until the 1st of March.
Our action will not stop with these raids. A special investigation will be carried out after these raids. For example, the CID and the Police Narcotics Bureau will come together and launch an investigation to confiscate the properties of 24 drug peddlers generated through illegal means. Our take on this, as Sri Lanka Police, is that when punishment is given out to drug smugglers, they should have been given rigorous punishments. That will be a massive aid for the eradication of drugs. Yes, but not only regarding drugs. I announced about many organized crimes along with drug peddling. The Colombo Criminal Investigation Division arrested a close ally of Kanjipani Imran yesterday. He has been connected in many shooting incidents. Like this, the entirety of the Sri Lanka Police, including the Police Narcotics Bureau, the Colombo Criminal Investigation Division, Organized Criminal Division, will be taking maximum action towards the eradication of drugs.
In 2017, 314 kilograms of heroin was seized, and in 2018, 737 kilograms of heroin was seized. In the first 10 months of 2018, only 184 kilograms were seized. During the final 2 months of last year, after the Ministry of Law and Order was taken over by President Maithripala Sirisena, more than 553 kilograms were seized in the country. This year, 520 kilograms and 762 grams of heroin were seized, along with 6,651 arrests.
We would like to highlight the fact that the leader of this country is now strongly involved in the drug eradication program in the country. I would like to specially mention the Presidential Task Force who operate against drugs in the country. These unique raids take place thanks to the combined efforts of all these forces. We are now hoping to enact the death penalty on the convicts who have been declared guilty by both magistrates and courts of appeal.
Meanwhile, President Maithripala Sirisena arrived at the Police Narcotics Bureau this afternoon.
The President inspected the biggest single haul of heroin seized in Sri Lanka and congratulated and appreciated the officers who were involved in the operation.
The Ceylon Today reported that security forces are currently conducting inquiries as to whether Markandre Madhush had plans to assassinate VVIPs in Sri Lanka.
The papers noted that investigations are being carried out to ascertain whether noted underworld criminal Markandre Madhush had sent several M39 rifles to the country from overseas with plans to assassinate VVIPs in Sri Lanka. The paper quoting sources attached to security forces said they were currently grilling a slew of accomplices of Markandre Madhush in custody to figure out how the kingpin had procured the firearms. The paper says the security forces suspect that the weapons had been planned to be brought to the country on trawlers through the Mirissa Seas.
What is the contribution provided by the Tri-Forces in eradicating the drug menace and organized crimes in the country? Commander of the Sri Lanka Army, Lieutenant General Mahesh Senanayake, spoke to News First in this regard.
Sri Lanka Army being the larger land force in the country who have the strength in terms of human resource, intelligence and the network of intelligence all over the country covering, we have decided and we are fully supporting the police and the special task force to carry out their responsibilities. We have our connections, contacts, networks right around the country and even abroad. So we share this information and intelligence with the police. So that is the major link that we are maintaining with the police and the law enforcement authorities to ensure that they are comfortable to carry out and continue in their process of apprehending all the drug dealers.
Governor of the Western Province, Asad Sali, also spoke about the initiative implemented to eradicate the drug menace in the country.
It is because of the President of the country that we were able to seize the drugs. The drugs seized during the 1.5 years is less than 500 kilograms. The student population and the parents should thank the President for implementing this initiative. There are also those who robbed the banks and destroyed the Sri Lankan Airlines. I believe that we will be able to move forward as a country if we arrest them all. We see that the bond scam is also being resurfaced with the drug issue in the country. We cannot let this be swept under the carpet too. We can also see how the civil organizations are remaining silent. So we urge that the bond scam also be taken up and the perpetrators to be punished. We request the President and the other relevant authorities to not let the bond scam be swept under the carpet because of the drug issue. We also remind you that many political deals might come up. So don't let these deals cover up these issues. The culprits should definitely be punished.
Also in local news, Voice Against Corruption convened a media briefing in Colombo today.
When it has been 4 years since the central bank bond scam took place, Aloysius has been released and sent home. He has also attended Mahinda Rajapaksa's youngest son's wedding. But there is no way to recover the stolen money. Instead, Ranil Wickremesinghe is trying to change the Securities and Exchange Ordinance. But why? Because Aloysius' company has 12 billion rupees kept in the bank. There was around 8.5 billion rupees Aloysius borrowed from People's Bank, Bank of Ceylon and from 2 private banks. So as the Voice Against Corruption, we asked President Maithripala Sirisena about the revelations made in the Bond Scam Commission report about how 166 people divided 1,196 million rupees obtained from the bank accounts of the Mendes company among themselves. Where are the details of those 166 people? it was revealed that 3,250 million rupees were distributed to politicians and officers by Arjuna Aloysius. Reveal their names. We request the governor to conduct a forensic audit and find out where the money is kept. But everyone is keeping quiet while hiding behind Madhush. They are all preparing for the next election, leaving these things aside.
If President Maithripala Sirisena isn't attempting to safeguard the corrupt, he should have been able to take steps to produce Arjuna Mahendran before courts when it has been 4 years since the bond scam. The complete report should be published. We saw how the Prime Minister assured the people and the authorities, but now he says that red notices are issued. But that is not sufficient. People of this country want to see the attempts made by the foreign embassies. But we see that they do not follow up with the process after a word of assurance is given.
Kerala ganja is one of the main narcotic substances that has plagued society, and tonight News First look into deep sea operations carried out by the Sri Lanka Navy to curb drug peddling. News First Zulfikar Zan reports.
According to intelligence services, a majority of the Kerala ganja comes to Sri Lanka by boat, especially from the northern seas. The Sri Lanka Navy dispatches all boats under its command in the north to patrol the northern waters to detect and arrest drug peddlers, and have conducted many successful raids in deep seas. Following a late night patrol, News First along with the Sri Lanka Navy set out to sea once again as daylight broke, to observe the movements of all types of boats between KKS and Point Pedro. We are aboard a fast attack craft of the Sri Lanka Navy, the first line of defense of the armed forces, and according to our captain right behind me, we've detected several vessels aboard the radar system in place in this vessel, a sophisticated equipment. We've detected several boats and vessels, so now we are en route to investigate and inspect those boats and vessels at close range, and if needed, they will also board and inspect further. The sophisticated radar system used by the Sri Lanka Navy can detect any vessel, big or small, within a 5 nautical mile radius. The Navy also has the latest equipment to detect suspicious vessels in their arsenal, as drug peddlers follow various means to conceal their illegal cargo. The captain is now steering this ship, this FAC, towards the boats that have been detected, and as you can see behind us, it's very tiny, but these are very small boats that will be inspected by the Sri Lanka Navy for any suspicious items or any narcotic substances that possibly they may be carrying. It is not unusual for fishermen to set out to sea at night and return to shore during the day. Sadly, these fishermen are being used by devious drug peddlers to carry out their illegal acts.
The Sri Lanka Navy is in possession of equipment incorporating the latest technology. We conduct search operations throughout the day. Therefore, we always make the attempt to engage in inspections without causing inconvenience to the fishermen. During the past 2 months alone, the Sri Lanka Navy has seized over 600 kilograms of Kerala ganja in the northern seas.
News First also sat down with the commander of the Northern Naval Area, Rear Admiral P.M. Wickramasinghe, who gave us an insight into the activities of the Sri Lanka Navy.
No one should be afraid of a naval vessel. Our duty is to curb any illegal movement across our sea areas. So, if any person is not engaged in an illegal thing, he should not be afraid of a naval vessel doing a patrol or approaching. If they are challenged, they can stop and they can identify themselves. If this menace is going to continue, we will have devastating results in our country.
The Defender SUV involved in a hit-and-run injuring the Burala Traffic Police OIC was discovered from a house in Palavatta, Bathanamulla this afternoon. Police said the owners of the house were not in at the time of the discovery.
The traffic OIC of the Borella Police, IP Sarat Chandra, was run over in Bambulapitia at around 4:30 this morning when he was on his way from Borella to Bambulapitia on his motorcycle to report for duty. The Defender SUV in question fled the area after the accident. The traffic OIC, who was seriously injured, is being treated at the ICU of the Colombo National Hospital. Authorities state that he is in a critical condition. Meanwhile, the police was able to discover the suspected vehicle WPFZ 9143 parked near a house in Pagoda, Pelavatta.
Based on the operation carried out, it has been revealed that the SUV has been travelling passing a red light. Through investigations carried out from the information received and the footage obtained from the CCTV cameras, we were able to find this SUV, which was hidden this afternoon. Right now, a statement is being recorded by the registered owner of this vehicle. The owner has been identified as Ranchigoda Arachige Vishanta Sri Vijaysekara, residing at number 422/1 Gall Road, Kolpiti. And the person who has been driving the vehicle has surrendered himself to the Bambulapitta police and has been taken into police custody. More investigations are underway to determine whether the surrendered person actually drove the vehicle and to find out who was inside the vehicle at the time of the accident.
විමර්ශන කටයුතු සිදු වෙනවා. ජීවිතවල දෙකක් ආව කියලා පොඩි කතාවක් කියනවා. ඒ ගැනත් විමර්ශන කරනවා.
A Defender SUV was taken into custody during a special operation conducted by the Mount Lavinia police last night.
A special operation was conducted last night from 8 a.m. to midnight, covering the Mount Lavinia Police Division. During this special operation, the defender was taken into custody near the Katubedda police station in Moratuwa. It was revealed that the defender was registered using fake documents. The police said that an additional number plate had also been found inside the defender. The owner of the defender informed the police that the number plate is from another vehicle which belongs to him. Further investigations are underway.
Various views were expressed in the political arena about the statement made by State Minister Ranjan Ramanayaka.
Drugs and alcohol are things that do not affect us. Therefore, we are not worried by these. Throughout my life, I have been a teetotaler.
This is yet another trick of Ranil Wickremesinghe. Now Makondra Madush is over and the whole drug issue is over. Ranil Wickremesinghe brings about more issues every 2 months. He bowls towards this side and our people start batting. Now drugs are also over and those who apprehended drugs are over. Dubai investigations are over and allegations on Ranjan Ramanayaka for contempt of court is also over. The people of the country are unable to find ends meet. We need to ask this from the minister who mentioned about this cocaine issue. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe has appointed a committee for this and the committee has commenced an inquiry. Let's see what happens after the inquiry.
Now you have been given chewing gum topics to keep chewing. These days we are chewing the gum provided by Ranjan Ramanayaka. Ranil brings forth some henchmen to provide these. Now the real danger is created underneath these made-up news. Dear friends, there is an American institute called Millennium Challenges Corporation. The head of this organization is the Secretary of the US State Department. Where have they opened up their new office in Sri Lanka? Is it at the US Embassy? No, it is at Temple Trees. From there they make plans. Their intention is to change Sri Lanka's land law completely. They are planning on bringing in something called the Land Bank Act. Through this, all the land of the government will go under state banks. Foreigners come to this land bank and request for the land they prefer. The land bank will give the land to the foreigner on the approval of the minister of the ministry that the land belongs to. 12 of us got stuck in that elevator. They are now bringing in 10 elevators with high speed. Imagine the amounts of the commission that they have taken to expedite this process. One elevator got stuck, but now they are bringing in 10 new ones. The elevator that malfunctioned is not in bad condition. It only needs to be properly maintained. They took this opportunity to bring in 10 new elevators and take commissions. It would have been better to die in that elevator because they are using this incident for this scam.
Deputy Minister of Industry and Commerce Buddhika Pattarana subjected himself to a blood and a urine test today.
The Deputy Minister provided blood and urine samples for testing in this manner in response to the allegation levelled by State Minister Ranjan Ramanayaka that parliamentarians use drugs. Deputy Minister Buddhika Pattarana also provided hair samples for further investigations.
It is very important to provide hair samples to carry out the tests properly. Therefore, I provided hair samples as well. When there are allegations, it is always best to face these allegations. When someone has allegations of thievery, then it is best to show that you are not a thief. Therefore, as a public representative, we should have self-discipline.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe arrived at the Malwatu Mahaviharya this morning.
The Prime Minister called on the Chief Prelate of the Malwatu Chapter, Most Venerable Tibbatuwave Sri Sumangala Thera.
We discussed about the conservation activities of temples and the issues in archaeology. I'm hoping to hold discussions with the Minister of Cultural Affairs and implement a program.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe called on the Chief Prelate of the Ramanya sect, Most Venerable Napane Premasiri Thera, and obtained blessings.
Most Venerable Naram Panave Anandathero, Deputy Registrar of the Untitled Chapter, expressed his views on the present situation of the country.
In the last few years, when the proposals were presented to the Constitution, these proposals have not come up with the needs of our country. Politicians in the north are taking advantage of the situation for their own benefit. It doesn't appear to us that they are honest to the needs of the Tamil people. We visited Jaffna in the past few days. They are not concerned about the executive presidency. They are not concerned about a constitution. They are still recovering from the post-war effect. We witnessed issues on repairing their houses. The government continues to mislead the people. Our opinion is that all politicians of the country should pay more attention on resolving these issues these people face.
Various information is being reported about the two Radgama businessmen who are believed to be abducted and burnt after being murdered. However, according to the relations of the abductees, they have been receiving telephone calls continuously demanding ransom money.
Manjula Asela and Rasheen Chintaka, two businessmen from Radgama, went missing on the 23rd of last month. The Criminal Investigations Department revealed that they have been burnt and killed. However, the residents say that they have been receiving ransom calls from the 22nd of this month. On the 21st at around 4:30 p.m., two police officers came on the police traffic bike. They asked me whether this is Manjula's house. I replied saying I am the father of Manjula and asked them as to what is the problem. Then they said that they had received a message from the Gaul police that our telephone lines are barred, and the two policemen asked for my number. So I gave the number. About 5 minutes after giving the number, I got a call from the police. The person who called me asked me not to panic and said that my son is safe. He said they are in Mana and it is very difficult to reach them as there are people holding them with weapons. But we will reach them somehow. Then they asked for my support. Then I asked them as to what sort of support is needed. Then they asked me whether I could give them 50,000 rupees by Sunday, and they promised to deliver my son.
ඉරිදා වෙනකොට අද ඉරිදානේ අද ඉරිදා 12 වෙනකොට ඒ දෙන්නම ඕනමයි කිව්වා. පුළුවන් නම් රුපියල් 50,000ක් දාන්නයි කිව්වා. මම කිව්ව එක පොඩ්ඩක් බලුවද? බලන්න එක මේ හිතේ මම හෙට වෙනකොට කියා ඒ මුදල් ලෑස්ති කර ගන්නම් එහෙම වුණා. නෑ නැතුණක් කමන්නේ. ඔයාට බලන්න ඔයා පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්න පුළුවන් උත්සාහයක් දරන්න. මොකද කාටවත් දැනුම් දීමක් කරන්න එපා. ඒකට මේ ඇඩ්ලීමට අපිට අපට ගාවක් කියනවා. හරි. හොඳයි හොඳයි.
It was revealed yesterday that out of the 15 police officers who were transferred, 5 of them have not reported for duty. Journalists questioned the police media spokesperson regarding this.
The officers who were transferred have to report for duty today. They have been transferred out of the southern province to the Panadura and Kalutara police divisions. If they do not report for duty, those respective police stations will take disciplinary action regarding them. They will be issued letters of vacation of position. The police officers who are involved in the abduction of these two businessmen will be brought before the law through the investigations of the CID. Already an IP and an SI have been remanded.
Sri Lanka Ironman 70.3 Colombo was held in Colombo today.
The event saw 745 athletes from 58 countries taken to the streets of Colombo with the assistance of the Ministries of Tourism, Sports, Ports and Law and Order, and Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau. The race comprises of a 1.9 km sea swim, a 90 km bike ride and a 21.2 km run. Team Bulletin from Australia won the Ironman male solo event, clocking at a time of 4 hours, 10 minutes and 13 seconds to completion. Ling Air Cho of Singapore won the female solo event, clocking a time of 4 hours, 14 minutes and 39 seconds, while the team representing the Sri Lankan Navy won male relay with a time of 4 hours and 1 minute and 14 seconds.
Well, that's a look at this Sunday's edition of Weekend Primetime News. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.